important laws, inshallah. The first is with regards to tayammum and its combination with the wearing of a bandage or cast. So we know that tayammum is used conventionally when there isn't water available. But tayammum is also coupled with the inability for water to reach a part of the body that has to be purified as part of wudu, the ablution. So if you have to perform your wudu and there is water available, but water cannot reach, for example, your foot, then tayammum is used as a substitute for the limb that cannot be touched by water. So the author indicates, alhamdulillah, that if a person has to wear a splint or a cast or bandage, the individual is then permitted to perform tayammum for that particular organ of the body or limb of the body that does not receive water. Now, there are two important points here, my beloved brothers and sisters in Islam. The first is that if the limb of the body or the part of the body is not the face or hands, including the elbows. So let's say it is your foot. You injured your foot. A very important point here that we must apply immediately before the bandage goes on, an important point here is, according to the ulama, the person needs to apply the bandage or cast in a state of wudu, because this will affect whether the salah will be repeated once the bandage is taken off. So the ulama indicate that the person will be in a state of wudu. You then put the bandage, let's say, on the foot or the cast onto the foot. And now when you are taking wudu thereafter and water cannot reach your foot, you would then perform your wudu in the normal order, and you would then make tayammum for the limb that does not receive water. In this example here, the foot. If the individual had placed the cast or bandage onto the foot in a state of wudu, once the bandage is removed, there is no repetition of salah required. But if the bandage or cast was applied and the person was not in a state of wudu, they perform salah, of course, when it is upon them, but they need to repeat the salah for the period of the bandage. So, very important point that so when people, suffer injuries, please, remind them if you are assisting, let them be in a state of wudu before the bandage is applied. And this, of course, comes directly from the author. The second point or related to this, of course, is if the bandage is on the face or on the hands, including elbows. In other words, a place where the tayammum occurs. Now remember, the tayammum is meant to support the limb that did not receive water. But if the limb or the part of the body itself is the face or the hands, including elbows, that which is included in the tayammum, then the ulama indicate that there would be a repetition of salah for being unable to make tayammum for that area, because that area in itself is the tayammum areas. So this is a fine technicality that must be observed in the Shafi'i madhab regarding the bandages and the casts. The second point, and I'm going to conclude on this inshallah, the author indicates وَيَتَيَمَّمُ لِكُلِّ فَرِيضَةٍ وَيُصَلِّ بِتَيَمُّمْ وَاحِدٍ مَا شَاءَ مِنَ النَّوَافِلِ. That the author indicates that your tayammum now, your conventional tayammum, with one tayammum you can perform one fard salah, but many sunnah salah. But for each fard salah, you need a fresh tayammum. And this comes from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَيُتَيَمَّمْ لِكُلِّ صَلَاةٍ, that you will make tayammum, the dry ablution, for every salah. And on that note, inshallah, we close and we conclude the section of tayammum and we begin the section of dirt, of filth next week, inshallah. Wa sallallahu wa sallam alayhi wa rabbil alamin.